Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Coming up later in the program, we've got a guest. We are going... Woo, knock my pages on the ground here. That wouldn't be good. We got a guest. Today we're going to be visiting with Hal Shelton. He's with a group called SCORE, and he's got a book called The Secrets to Writing a Successful Business Plan. I'm a big fan of SCORE, by the way. It's an organization that is absolutely free for small businesses to use, and it's a bunch of people with experience that help you so you don't make the mistakes that you make without the help. It's just a cool thing.
Are they the ones that made you champion of the year?
Well, that too.
Is that why you like them?
No, I like them.
Because you're champion of the year.
And they made me the champion of the year a few years ago. But because I like them so dang much. Hey, this is interesting. A movie company in Korea wants to use digital imagery to bring Bruce Lee back to life on the movie screen. I don't think that's a good idea.
No, just let him be.
Yeah, I think it's a bad plan. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, February the 24th. Today is Forget Me Not Day. Don't forget me.
Okay.
It's also Girl Scout Cookie Weekend. Apparently this weekend is like the big hoorah for Girl Scout cookies.
I love Girl Scout cookies.
Man, it's like my kryptonite. Women in Blue Jeans Days is over the weekend. And World Bartender Day is today. So there you go. Got a couple of things going on to celebrate. And I'm just trying to think if you could be celebrating the Bartender Day and the Girl Scout
Tip your
Cookie
bartender
Day.
with Girl Scout cookies.
Hey, there you go. That sounds like a delicious idea. I wonder what Forget Me Not Day is.
I don't know.
Forget me not.
No, that's He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh,
Yeah.
then I have no clue. I guess I'm completely nuts. Women in Blue Jeans, I know, because that's you right there. All right, couple of fun things to talk about in today's program on the way.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John from the John and Heidi Show. Join me and my wife Heidi at 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana. That's in the Dominican Republic. You'll get to meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more. Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others. Get all of the details at 80sinthesand.com. Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person. That's 80sinthesand.com, promo code RADIO.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Today is kind of unofficially Shooting People Day. I'm looking at all of these stupid stories about people doing dumb stuff with guns.
Oh.
And it's just bad. So, a tip for guys trying to impress a woman on a first date, don't shoot yourself. I'm just saying, it's usually not a good way to impress them. Susan McDonald and Kim Barnes' first date was going well until Mr. Barnes accidentally misfired a gun and shot himself in the leg. The man in the story here is a former U.S. Air Force fighter pilot. So
Was it in his holster?
Certainly smart enough to know better. Well, I'll explain here. He has handled guns his whole life, but he accidentally shot himself with his semi-automatic pistol during the date. The irony is he was trying to show his date, Susan,
Gun safety?
how kids often accidentally shoot themselves. He's like, well, because she was saying, well, guns just aren't safe. He goes, no, they're very safe. You know what you're doing. But she goes, oh, people get shot all the time. And he goes, well, they accidentally shoot themselves when they do this. And then he did it. Fortunately for him, his date works in a hospital. She was able to help him.
Oh, my goodness.
Until paramedics arrived. Certainly hope he got a second date. I just don't even know. Susan said, he is a lovely man. Barnes said he's hoping for another shot.
Wow.
At the date.
I get it.
Not
I get
in
it.
Not
I
in the other
understand.
leg. So you're saying you get it, it just wasn't funny?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Other people on the radio, when they have a sidekick, that sidekick will laugh. Not my wife. She's like, yeah, no, I heard it. It just wasn't funny. That's all. Anyway, like I said, this is the first of many people who literally shot themselves in dumb ways. So we've got a couple more of those coming your way here. I don't know how they all just happen to end up on today's date, but that's where they ended. So I just want to make sure I do preface this entire program with guns are not dangerous. It's idiots with guns that are dangerous.
Thank you.
If you're a a good gun owner like my wife over here, she's never shot anyone. She's pointing a gun at me right now, making me say this. So she's not really. Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs. And this deal here, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Another person that shot themselves.
All right.
Okay, police say Kelvin Roberts botched his plans to rob a North Carolina convenience store by shooting himself in the foot. .45 caliber handgun, by the way, if you're wondering.
Whoa. Whoa.
The gun apparently hit the ground and went off with a bullet striking him in the foot. Authorities say Roberts was in illegal possession of the gun because of his felony cocaine conviction in 2002.
My goodness.
So he wasn't supposed to have a gun anyway, but he had one. That was from New York, is where he got that conviction, and he was robbing this convenience store. Well, attempting to rob the convenience store.
That had to have blown his foot
Yeah,
apart.
that would probably, because 45 caliber, that's a pretty good size caliber. So I'm just saying, and if it was like right by his foot, because he dropped it on the ground when the gun went off, it shot his foot. Yeah.
Wow.
He's probably limping for the rest of his life.
With a mutilated foot, his days of peddling drugs are over.
I got it. I did laugh at it.
You did laugh.
Coming up, we have your
That's
moment.
a John joke. That's
Thank
why
you.
I said it. That's one of yours.
Thank you. We've got your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Joseph Langeldorf in Duden, Florida, got fed up with his 22-year-old son Tim playing computer games instead of doing his chores. When Tim still hadn't done the laundry, his dad went and got the gun and threatened to shoot out the computer monitor. Langenfelder said the gun accidentally discharged and the bullet hit the wall about 3 feet from where Tim was sitting. His son called 911 and told police that his dad shot at him. Guess what? Dad went to jail on attempted murder charges.
Oh, boy.
So at least in this story, because this is the third story today about idiots with guns, at least in this story, nobody got shot. The wall did. And like I said, I want to make sure when I preface the idiots with gun things, I know there's a lot of great gun owners that don't do dumb things. These three stories happen to be about idiots who happen to be gun owners. There are a lot of very responsible gun owners out there, many of them listening right now, one of them sitting in the studio with me, and another one
I
talking
love my
right
guns.
now. Yeah, I'm a gun owner too, but we don't do dumb stuff like that, and I encourage you to not do dumb stuff like that.
It's been a long
either.
time since I've spent any quality time with my weapons. I should do that.
We need to get together with our guns more.
We do.
often. Coming up, your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. In Wisconsin, a woman attempted to pass a counterfeit $20 bill at a gas station. She was trying to buy cigarettes, and the bill was asked, was asked to show ID. About that time, the clerk noticed something odd about the bill. It was blank on the back. The woman said, "Oh, I guess I didn't know that was a fake." And she pulled out some real money and gave him the real money, and that's when the clerk, that was thinking very quickly, jotted down her driver's license info and called the cops. So there you go. It's like, oh, I didn't know I didn't print the back of that.
Oh, my God.
Remember, if you're going to rob somebody's house and take a taxi as your getaway, to maybe not forget to pay the driver, because they're going to call the police and tell them right where they dropped you. That happened in New Jersey. Kenneth Burke, 46, Timothy Foote, 38, took a taxi to Deal, New Jersey. So apparently that's the name of a town, Deal, D-E-A-L. It's kind of a neat name for a town. Went inside, stole some stuff. They dropped him off at an apartment. They wouldn't pay. The driver called the cops. They realized that, hey, you know what? There was a burglary right where you guys just left.
Oh, funny.
$20,000 bail is what they have.
Whoa.
Now. So, yeah. Bad plan right there. Motorcyclist from New Jersey who fled New York State Police at speeds of more than 165 miles per hour was arrested. Guess why?
Why?
Ran out of gas.
Oh, wow.
So he was speeding away at 165 miles an hour, but you know what? Doesn't matter how fast you go. Eventually, you're going to have to get some gas. And Kylie Jenner reportedly is getting her own spin-off show from the Kardashians. I don't even know who Kylie is. I barely know who the Kardashians are, so I'm sure I won't be watching. Somebody that I do know.
I won't be watching.
Somebody that you do know. You're going to remember this name, too. Joe Piscopo.
Yeah?
Guess why Joe's in the news?
Why?
Joe Piscopo is considering a run for New Jersey governor. Can you imagine?
Really?
Governor Piscopo? You look marvelous.
Huh.
Wait, that was Billy Crystal. Never mind. Or was it Joe Piscopo that said that? I don't know.
That was Billy Crystal.
That's what I was thinking. What did Joe Piscopo say? He said something.
I think Joe Piscopo did an impression of Billy Crystal, though. Wasn't Joe Piscopo on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, back in the 80s, he was in Saturday Night Live. Well,
so you weren't entirely wrong.
Probably was. I just remember, and I'll just move on because I don't even know if that's right now. So I remember the skit in my mind, but now I'm thinking it might not have been him. Moral of the story is Joe Piscopo may be running for governor of New Jersey. End of story. Move on. That's what I should have put in my notes. Should you believe all of those text messages you sent from that get sent to you from your friends? Turns out a lot of them are not completely honest. A good chance. About 11% of the text messages you send and receive are deceptive, according to research at Cornell University. They examined about 5,400 texts. They found out that 10.7% are used to tell people that we're someplace we're not really. Or that we have to go when we really don't have to go. We just want to end the conversation.
I'm so sorry, I just missed your call, but I'm in a really super busy place, so I can't talk right now. What did you need?
You send me that all the time. Can't pick up. What's up? You can pick up. What you really mean is I don't want to talk to you.
That's one of my auto replies, actually. I
For me.
just don't like to talk on the phone.
And only me.
No, for a lot of people.
Oh, sure it is.
For a lot of people.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. I believe you, baby. A new study shows that kids who watch too much TV develop poor social skills.
You think?
Yeah. I don't really
also,
think
same thing with kids that spend all their time staring at their telephones.
Study in the journal Body Image indicates many overweight people do not know they're obese. I'm overweight and I know I'm obese and I'm doing something about it. So there you go. Coming up, we've got some more fun stuff to chat about. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now, Hal Shelton. He's a national board member for an organization that I love called SCORE. And he's also, in addition to that, he's a best-selling author. And we're going to be talking to him about his book that's coming out again. It's a second printing. First of all, let's just say hello to Hal. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today. Now, the book, The Secrets to Writing a Successful Business Plan, it's an Amazon bestseller, and there's like a reprinting. Is that what this is?
Yes, this is the second edition. The first edition came out 3 years ago, but between then and now, the world has changed a little bit, so I've had some major updates. The second edition is 100 pages longer. It includes a bonus chapter on the key issues startups face in like their first 100 days, such things as how much should I pay myself, how much cash should I keep, how to set a budget and things like that. Also in the last couple of years, crowdfunding as a source of funding has really expanded, and I have a lot to say about that and how that can help entrepreneurs raise funds. Also have some major discussions on the pros and cons of alternative financing. There's lots of ways to get money other than just from a traditional bank loan. And I have lots of stories in the book about people who have followed my advice, people who have not followed my advice, and what the outcome has been. And so it really gets down to so everybody can understand in very plain language what it's all about.
That's really cool. Well, thank you for taking the time and putting in the effort to not only help the businesses that read this, but you're also, in effect, helping the economy in each of the communities where these businesses are located. So think of the ripple effect that your book is having in our country. That's awesome.
Yeah, and a couple of the key measures that one uses to do exactly what you said is, how many businesses are formed each year, how many jobs are created, and so that the local communities are much more vibrant.
That's a really cool thing. Now, we'll come back to the book again in a moment, but let's take a second here to talk about SCORE. You're a national board member for SCORE. It's a wonderful nonprofit, 11,000 mentors all across the country, helping millions of small businesses all over the place. And this is something that we've been big promoters of here because, first of all, I love entrepreneurs. I love that person that wakes up one day and says, you know what, I think I've got a better way, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to do it. And if you want to be more successful as an entrepreneur, sometimes it's not a bad idea to listen to people who've been there. And that's kind of what the folks at SCORE do. They're people who've got a little bit of experience, and they offer that experience for free, and they help people. It's a great organization. How did you get involved in that?
When I went to school and I exchanged Christmas cards with a colleague over the years, he had joined SCORE many years before I did. And then I said, and he's out in California, and I'm in Maryland. And I said, Jerry, what's the SCORE thing about? And he chatted with me about it, and it was basically word of mouth. And then I went and I applied, and I became a SCORE mentor. And as you said, there's like 11,000 of us volunteers. There's over 300 chapters throughout the United States, and listeners should go to score.org, and there you can find a SCORE mentor, as John said, for free. That's near you, and if one's not near you or you just have a short question, you can ask it online and get an online mentor. And while you're at that website at score.org, you can see blogs, webinars, podcasts, templates, even templates for business plans. Everything about small business is right there at your fingertips. And
it's such a great organization, and the people that I have met through SCORE are literally some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Because think about this, the person that you're meeting there, they've said, you know what, I've done well, I've enjoyed the business world. A lot of these are people who maybe are even retired, but they're saying, hey, I've got some time to give back, and I'm going to do that to help the next generation. And I think that's such a cool thing. So thank you again for being a part of SCORE.
Yeah, so I've been doing it for 11 years and probably have helped close to 1,200 entrepreneurs think about, start, grow, and in some cases even sell their businesses.
That's really cool. Again, visiting right now with Hal Shelton. In addition to being a national board member for SCORE, he's also the author of a book called The Secret to Writing a Successful Business Plan. Now, it originally came out a few years back. You've got the second edition now, 100 more pages, so some more information in there. Over the time that you've been working on this second edition, think about all the things that have come out. You talked a little bit about crowdsourcing as far as funding and some of the new technology that's at our fingertips right now. Would you say it's easier to start a business today than it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago?
I think it's easier in terms of it's less costly, particularly anything related with tech, with openware software available. And you can do it at home, you can do it remotely. But the fundamentals of starting a business and the key issue I see of all my SCORE clients, the difficulty is how to find paying customers. So one can start easily, but it's still very difficult to get those paying customers. And that's why writing the business plan is so important, so you can try to figure out most of it beforehand. And so when you start, you have a much better chance of success.
And the nice thing about a business plan is it's really a map to follow. And imagine, if you were saying, hey, I'm going to go somewhere that I've never been before, and you're going to just wander your way there and hope that you eventually find it. It's probably going to take longer. It's probably going to cost more. Now, if you were smart about it and said, I'm going to have a map that's going to take me from point A to point B, and I'm going to follow that map, you're going to get there a whole lot quicker. And it's going to probably cost you less. It's the same kind of thing. If you don't have a map when you're getting into business, you're guessing your way, and it can be very costly, can it?
Absolutely. The old slogan is, if you don't know where you're going, the chances are you're not going to get there.
Exactly. Well, Hal, thank you again for your dedication and devotion to this field. It's very encouraging to me that there are people out there like you, and that's again one of the things I love about SCORE is there's a lot of people like you that are out there saying, "Hey, we want to help others," but you've taken it to a whole new level by putting a book together to help as well. Again, The Secrets to Writing a Successful Business Plan. It's an Amazon bestseller. Is it available right now on Amazon as well?
Yes, the new edition is up on Amazon, Amazon.com. It's probably the best place to get the best prices and the best delivery. And if folks do buy it, and if they like it, I'd encourage you to write a review at Amazon just so others will know and learn from your experiences.
Very nice. Hal, thank you again for taking the time to chat with us, sir.
Okay, John, thanks for having me on, and everybody have a great day.
Again, Hal Shelton is a national board member for SCORE. In addition to that, he's also the author of The Secrets to Writing a Successful Business Plan. It's an Amazon bestseller, and it just came out in its second edition with 100 more pages, so there's even more info in there. Again, that is The Secrets to Writing a Successful Business Plan. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad, but don't know where to start? No one knows your loved ones better than you do, and no one knows senior living better than A Place for Mom. They've helped thousands of families find the right place for their loved ones. The senior living advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. Call 1-800-471-5173. That's 1-800-471-5173.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Joe DiMaggio had more home runs than strikeouts during his career. Well,
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't think that it would have been the other way. But there you go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
I think this is cool. The wingspan of a Boeing 747 is longer than the Wright brothers' first flight. So an airplane's wingspan from tip to tip, the first flight was less distance than that.
Oh.
That is just really cool. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Hollywood sign originally was conceived as a real estate ad, and it used to say
Hollywood
Land. Yeah. The sign stands 50 feet tall, stretches 450 feet across, weighs 450,000 pounds, for those of you wondering.
I wonder what happened to the land part of that sign.
I don't know. That would be really cool to find out.
The airport where Harrison Ford missed the runway should get that and put it right
Land.
next to the...
Big arrow. Over here. Land here. Not there. Over here. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Eiffel Tower was built for the 1889 World's Fair. It was not intended
that,
to stay there
actually.
forever, but they said, hey, you know what?
I knew
I'm
that.
not taking it apart. Let's just leave it up. It's like a Christmas tree. I have that discussion every year in January. Can we just leave it up? Let's make it an Easter tree and a Halloween tree. Okay, I'll take it down. There's a couple of fun facts for you right there on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. For those of you who work in an office and have to print stuff, you're going to want to listen to this because this is interesting. In the entire world, it seems there's nothing as expensive as inkjet cartridges. Have you bought one of those things lately? They're
It's been...
expensive.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. We have. For our
Yeah.
printer, it's
So
crazy.
If ink were gasoline, it would cost you $175,000 to fill your tank.
Woo!
That's how expensive those things are. Somebody did the math on it. Go out and buy inkjet printer, and it comes with ink cartridges, but they're only partially filled, and they're designed to not last very long. The printer company wants you to go in debt getting those printer cartridges almost immediately. So you buy more cartridges and more, and it seems like it just never ends. It wouldn't be so bad, except the typical inkjet cartridge is $30 to $40. Get this. It only takes them $3 or $4 to produce them. So you're paying over 10 times what these ink
All right,
cartridges
you know
cost.
what? that's every industry, and there's nothing wrong with making a
I'm
profit.
not
If there is
saying
a
there
supply
is.
and a demand and people are willing to pay it, then
I'm not saying there is. I'm
So
going to
be
just
it.
continue reading this barely legible because I printed it, and I'm not going to buy more ink right now page. So let me get back to it.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm so upset about this right now. Printer makes the markup. They say it's due to research and development costs.
I could
So,
see that.
What can you do? Well, the first thing is to remember that your printer lies to you. A lot of people see the printer saying that you're running out of ink, so they pop in a different cartridge right away.
Oh yeah, we shake
Not
ours.
us.
And
Yeah, ours, they are good to the last drop. And when I print the final page and I can't even read it anymore, I'm like, all right, let's find another ink cartridge. Like, can we reprint this? I'm like, no, that's fine. That's for in-office use only anyway, so don't worry about it. But I can't read the forecast. Yeah, just make stuff up. It'll be fine. Okay, a lot of people see the printer telling them the ink is out, and they pop it out and they put in a new one.
Oh no,
Anyway,
it'll last forever
they say
after it tells you.
Ignore the warnings. You can keep running it for a
Yep.
while. Take out the cartridge, shake it a little bit, bang it on the desk a couple of times, put it back in.
Lick it like you do the tip of a
Don't
magic
do
marker.
That. I did that. It tastes disgusting. Ugh, that was a bad idea. So anyway, they said if you do that, you'll get a whole lot of extra juice out of those
Yep,
cartridges.
that's true.
Couple ideas for you there to save some dough in the office.
John and Heidi.
Only 2 in 10 Americans say they're ready for the unthinkable. Are you ready for a natural disaster? What would happen if you were not able to go out to get food for your family during extreme weather? How long would you be okay without power and without access to get more food? Wise Company has the ultimate emergency preparedness pack with enough emergency food kits for a week, or upgrade to be prepared for a month or longer. Call toll-free 888-552-3759. It pays to be prepared. Learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Just when you thought we were done talking about dumb people with guns, I got another story for you
Oh,
here.
wow.
I know, when I was getting this, I was like, how do I have so many of these today? They say the music is too loud, you're too old. Well, here's a perfect example of that. If you don't want to play your radio too loud, around 80-year-old Lily Klaus in Toledo, Ohio. She's across the street from the Lucas County Jail, but now she's inside that jail because she fired a shotgun at a guy who was making too much noise playing his radio too loud.
Holy cow.
The bad news is, while she did miss the guy, shotgun pellets actually struck 2 kids.
Oh my god.
Fortunately, the kids were not actually hurt because the round had lost all of its power from, sitting in the shotgun for 42 years. That's how long the bullet was in there. She was just waiting. She's 80. She's been waiting 38 years or 42 years to shoot it. Police say Lily did ask the guy to turn the music down first. He refused, so the 5 foot, 180-pound, 80-year-old woman went into her home, got a shotgun, and we told you the rest. So
She's feisty.
yeah,
like
she
that.
is. So again, you don't shoot guns at people like that. You don't do that. That is not a good way to handle that situation. You shoot it in the air, maybe. No, don't do that either. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about grumpiness. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
All right, I got a quick survey for you, Heidi.
Okay.
Am I grumpy or not?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Am I usually
We're all
grumpy? or-
grumpy sometimes.
But would you describe me as a grumpy person or a happy person?
No, you're a happy person usually.
Doggone it. This is the one time I wanted you to say I was grumpy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're grumpy.
Yeah, thank you very much. According to new research, grumpy is good. University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, determined that grumpy people are not only better at decision making, they're also less gullible. Okay. Yeah, I'm clearly not grumpy then. I'm pretty gullible. And I can't make up my mind at all. Lead study author says cheerfulness fosters creativity, while gloominess breeds attentiveness and careful thinking. This all according to a report on the BBC. Why? Grumpy people are better able than happy people to cope with demanding situations because of the way their brain promotes information and it processes the strategies inside there. So what they're saying is, if you're kind of grumpy, good news. At least you'll be able to make up your mind a whole lot better, and you're not going to be so gullible.
And would you typically describe me as happy most of the time or grumpy most of the
you're
time?
happy like in public all the time, but you're grumpy sometimes because I do some really dumb stuff.
Because you're gullible.
Because I'm gullible. It's like, you fell for that? What did you do? He's going to live in our basement for how long? We had a dude live in our basement for 6 months. So, yeah, I'm a little gullible. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you shop online? Do you like to save money? Save money with Honey. Let me explain. Honey is a really smart tool that's free to use. I'm not really an online shopper. I get as many things locally as possible, but there are some things you can only buy online. So when I heard about Honey, I thought, what the heck? It's free. I'll give it a shot. The very first time I used it was for a domain name. It's usually $12.99. Honey searched the internet and found me a discount code, so I bought it from the same exact website for just 99 cents. So I saved $12. It's absolutely free, so what do you have to lose? Check it out at SaveMoneyWithHoney.com.
John and Heidi.
I got a couple stories I'm going to try to get to. This one here, if you think about what you ate for lunch, it could actually help keep you from eating too much later in the day. A study published in the Journal of Physiology and Behavior, they asked people to taste test 3 different types of popcorn, and they were told they could eat as much as they wanted. And then they broke it into different groups. Those who were first asked, okay, what did you have for lunch today? Mm-hmm. They asked them, and they talked about all the stuff they had, and they said, okay, you can have as much popcorn as you want. They consumed about 30% less popcorn than the other people. So there you go. And if they asked, what did you have for lunch yesterday? It didn't affect it at all. So only if you're thinking about what you had for lunch today did that affect you and how much popcorn you were going to eat. I have to think about that next time I'm going to go eat
popcorn.
Eat anything, really. And this is interesting, too. It says a new study found that having this can cut down on family arguments. What do you think it is? We have one. Well, we have 2.
A dog?
Pets. Any kind of pets. According to a new study, kids generally like the family pet more than their siblings, especially if it's a dog. Research found that if kids love their siblings, but still see them as a competitor for everything, from new toys to getting their love from their parents, they won't have those issues, though, with a dog. It gives them unconditional love and companionship, and they feel as though they can safely share secrets with a dog, even though it doesn't understand. Well, they do understand, and they're going to blackmail you someday with all this. You're going to be sitting there just minding your own business, and your
Someday
dog's
they're
going to
invent a
say,
little voice box thing that you can put on a dog, like on Up, where
didn't
it'll bark and it'll start talking, and it's going to start telling all your secrets.
Didn't we hear on the radio, like in the middle of the night, there was some show where there was a lady that was saying she knows what dogs think? My wife over here would not let me keep listening. I was like, I want to hear this.
You are
She's like, this lady's
crazy.
a wackadoodle. I'm like, I know, but it's so fascinating. I'm going to try to get her as a guest. I just want to see what our dogs are talking about. All right, we have some good news coming your way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with good news, and I just got to say something. I got a really nice message from somebody the other day. They were talking about the good news, and they said, thank you. Thank you for sharing good news every day.
Oh, that's nice.
And they went on to say that my good news is better some days than others. I agree with that completely. But they said most of the time it's really good news, and it just cheers me up. So, and it comes at the end of the program, and it's time that we need a little cheering up because we had to put up with you for the last few hours. So. Mom, quit emailing me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It wasn't for my mom, but I do appreciate the email, and it was neat. So, asking a girl to the prom is something most teenage boys experience. You know, asking a girl to the prom. But that boy creating the dress for his date to wear to the prom, that's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Jamel has carved a bright future for himself by making handsome prom dresses. He began sewing when he was 14 years old, and he converted his small bedroom into a sewing lab. Every year, he sells 3 or 4 custom-made prom dresses during prom season. He sells these spectacular and elaborate gowns for $300 to $450. How much is a regular prom dress? Is that like in the ballpark? I've never bought a prom dress, so that's kind of what they are. And I've got a link to his story on our Facebook page. And I just think it's really neat. This young man, so like I said, he started when he was 14 years old and decided, I'm going to start sewing prom dresses. So that's kind of interesting.
And he was asking a girl to prom?
Oh, it doesn't say that he was asking a girl. It just says asking a girl to... What are you trying to say over there?
But just...
Would you just stop it?
I know a lot of boys, and they don't usually sit around in their room.
There's some. Like I said, he has a little sewing lab in his bedroom. I think it's really kind of cool. Would you just stop it?
What? I am not saying anything.
And you, the fact that you're not saying anything, but that look on your face tells me that I'm in for an earful when we get off here. I know she's got something on the tip of her tongue, and I'm glad you're not saying it. I don't want to apologize for you anymore. If you'd like to read this story, it's at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Turn her mic off quick. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.